Charlie, over.
Boy, that was about 5. There was a really loud one. Whoever responded first, try it again.
KA4BKA.
KA4. I might. KA4. And what was the rest?
Bravo, Kilo, Alpha. KA4BKA. The name here is Mark. Over.
Roger, Mark. Good signal, sir. Where are you?
I'm in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Just operating a stock ICOM IC 706 Mark II-G, and with a ladder line and a doublet antenna. So about 100 watts and a little handheld mic that came with the rig. Over.
Roger that, Mark. Your audio is fairly unprocessed. You could be a little fatter. Check your ALC and make sure you're mid-scale to 2/3 forward on that meter. And I would then maybe run if your compressor is 1 to 100, I would run 30. If it's 1 to 10, I would run about a 3, just to fatten you up a little bit. About 3 dB dynamic range is ideal. You know, that makes a nice fat signal. Roger.
Well, that sounds great. I appreciate the service you're performing, and I'll certainly be taking a listen to it also on the back end. But I'll check the ALC and the compressor settings and see what we can land over there.
Roger. EQ is fine. I like the EQ. It's unprocessed. That's the only thing, you know. And with a little processing, you would sound about twice as loud as you are. You wouldn't necessarily. You're hitting 100%. But the thing is, unprocessed audio usually it runs about 30% average peak modulation. So with just a little processing, you instead of a 10 dB dynamic range, you close it down to about a 3 dB dynamic range, and you bring your average peak modulation up to 65 or 70%. Roger.
Understand it completely. I work in the audio recording industries and have this equipment at my fingertips all the time in a recording studio, but for the life of me, I've never thought about translating this over to my HF rig. So that's part of the fun about coming back after many years. Got my ticket in '77. And just got this online a couple weeks ago, so it's tons of fun. Over.
Roger. Well, I spent 50 years in broadcasting, 50 years looking at VU meters. We didn't have the LED things then, but we did have VU meters. And after looking at a VU meter for 50 years, I can tell ballistically where that meter is going by the time it hits -7. The speed that it takes to hit -7, I can tell whether it's going to be 0, +2. You know, you just get real familiar with meter movements. Roger.
Roger that. Our primary console here at this facility, at my recording studio, is a 1965 Longevin build. So we have lots of VUs, and they're a beautiful thing. Over.
Roger. Now, the only thing that you have to be careful with is that you definitely need to put let's see how to say this. You want to bridge that meter, at least you know, by 4 dB, because if you don't, the meter movement itself will actually introduce an electromechanical sound into the audio that you're monitoring. You know, it's like a little speaker there. That needle moving around generates its own clink, clank, and discoloration. So, when you bridge out of it, or bridge to the meter, you minimize that noise. And some folks use a separate amplifier just to drive the VU meters.
Yes, it's with the Longevin that we have here, we actually
Roger, Mark. You did fade out, buddy. I brought you up to about a -4, nothing but noise. You were gone for most of that last transmission. So let me say threes to you, sir. I'm glad you had a chance to check in. And the head of this, your QSO, I think you can hear fairly well what you sound like. So if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to the QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, look for a QSO-VLOG called My Group Air Check, dated 11/9/18. Thanks so much, Mark. You have a real pleasant afternoon. Catch you later. It's KC9VKV.